Have you ever looked up from your phone and realized an entire hour just disappeared? One moment you're checking a message, and the next, you've scrolled through dozens of videos, read comments you don't even care about, and somehow feel even more exhausted than before. Welcome to the digital quicksand, where your attention isn't just drifting, it's being hijacked. And the worst part? It's not your fault. Your brain was never designed to handle this. While you're trying to stay focused on what matters, your brain's dopamine system is being pulled into a constant loop of small, addictive rewards. Notifications, social media, endless scrolling, each one delivers a tiny chemical hit, keeping you trapped in a cycle you didn't even choose. But here's the truth. No one tells you. You don't lack discipline. You're not lazy. You're just fighting against a system perfectly engineered to keep you distracted. And if you're tired of feeling like life is slipping away while you're trapped in this mental fog, it's time for a reset. In this video, I'll show you the science-backed method to break free from digital distractions and reclaim your focus, not through motivation, but by rewiring how your brain responds to them. If you're ready to take back control and build a mind that stays clear and calm, even in a world full of noise, make sure you stay until the end. Let's be real. You're not living in an age of information anymore. You're living in an age of attention warfare. Every app, every platform, every notification on your device is carefully engineered by behavioral scientists to capture and hold your focus. It's not about serving you. It's about keeping you engaged for as long as possible to extract the most valuable resource you have, your attention. Think about it. Why is it easier to scroll endlessly than to read a single chapter of a book? Why can't you sit with your own thoughts for 5 minutes without reaching for your phone? Neuroscience has the answer. Your brain wasn't built for this. It evolved in environments where distractions were minimal, where your focus was a survival tool, not a resource to be exploited. But now, you're being hit with more information in a single day than your ancestors experienced in entire months. Your mind is overloaded. Your nervous system is constantly on edge. And your attention span? It's shrinking by the minute. But here's the good news. You're not stuck this way. Your brain is plastic. It can change. It can relearn how to focus, how to resist distractions, and how to build mental clarity in the middle of chaos. In this video, we're going to break it all down. Backed by science, not hype. No empty productivity hacks. Just practical, actionable methods to help you reset your mind and train your attention like a muscle. Let's begin. Let's get one thing clear from the start. This is not a discipline problem. It's a brain design problem. You see, your brain wasn't built to thrive in a world flooded with constant notifications, endless content feeds, and infinite tabs. Open in your browser. It was built for survival, for spotting threats in the wild, not for filtering through 10,000 dopamine triggers before lunchtime. Think about this. Every time you hear a notification sound, a ping, a buzz, a subtle vibration, your brain triggers a micro-response. A hit of dopamine is released. It feels small, harmless even. But over time, that's exactly how habits are formed. Your brain starts craving that next ping, that next scroll, that next tiny hit of pleasure, even when you don't realize it. And that's why it feels almost impossible to sit still and just focus. This phenomenon has a name: the variable reward system. It's the same system slot machines use. It's not the reward itself that's addictive. It's the unpredictability. Will this notification be something exciting, something urgent, or completely useless? Your brain doesn't care. It just wants to check. And with every check, the habit loop strengthens. Now let's layer in something even more dangerous. Attention residue. Every time you switch tasks, even for a second, your brain leaves behind a little mental residue. You check a message. You scroll for just 5 minutes. You open a new tab. Each switch leaves a trace. And the more residue builds up, the harder it becomes to fully engage in deep, meaningful work. Here's the truth. You're not failing to focus because you're weak. You're struggling because your mind is constantly scattered across unfinished loops, unresolved distractions, and dopamine-fueled micro-hits. And it's costing you more than just wasted time. It's draining your mental energy. It's making you feel restless and anxious. And worst of all, it's robbing you of the peace that comes from being fully present in the moment. So what's the way out? It starts with one powerful realization. Your attention is not something to be managed. It's something to be protected. This isn't about quitting technology or living like a monk. It's about becoming the guardian of your own focus, learning to recognize when your mind is being hijacked and gently pulling it back. In the next part, we'll dive into exactly how to start that process, with small, science-backed habits that will rewire your brain to crave focus again. How to retrain your brain to love focus. Again, if your brain has been hijacked by constant notifications and endless scrolling, the first step to reclaim your focus is to stop fighting it with willpower alone. This isn't a battle you win by trying harder. It's a battle you win by changing the environment that shapes your habits and rewiring how your brain responds to distractions. Let's start with a hard truth. Your phone isn't just a tool. It's a perfectly engineered dopamine machine. Every app you use has been carefully designed by behavioral scientists to hijack your reward system. They know exactly when to send you that notification, exactly how to present that tempting headline, exactly how to keep you scrolling for just one more post. And while this may sound alarming, it's also empowering. Because once you understand how the system works, you can finally step outside of it. You can start to train your brain to crave clarity instead of chaos. Step 1. Build an attention awareness map. Before you can change a behavior, you have to see it clearly. Spend the next 24 hours tracking when and why you lose focus. Write it down. When did you reach for your phone? What triggered the distraction? Was it boredom? Stress? Avoidance? This isn't about judgment. It's about awareness. By mapping out these patterns, you'll start to see how often your attention is pulled away without conscious permission. And once you're aware, you can interrupt the loop. Step 2. Activate the 10-minute rule for single-tasking. Forget about forcing yourself to focus for hours. That's setting yourself up for failure. Instead, start with just 10 minutes. Here's how it works. Set a timer for 10 minutes. Choose one task, and only one. No checking messages, no background noise, just you and the task. Tell your brain, we're not doing this forever, just for 10 minutes. The beauty of this method is that it lowers the mental resistance to starting. And most of the time, you'll find that once you begin, those 10 minutes effortlessly turn into 20, or even an hour. This is called micro-commitment, and it works because it bypasses the fear of long-term effort. Step 3. Eliminate the decision tax on your brain. Every tiny decision you make throughout the day, what to eat, what to wear, what email to answer first, slowly drains your cognitive energy. By the time you sit down to do deep, meaningful work, you're already exhausted. This is why the most productive people simplify everything they can. They automate meals. They wear the same types of outfits. They create clear morning and evening routines. Because the more you can reduce unnecessary decisions, the more mental energy you preserve for what really matters. This is called decision energy conservation, and it's a critical part of rebuilding your focus. If you've ever wondered why you can focus better in the morning and feel mentally fried by afternoon, this is the reason. Step 4. Create a digital boundary ritual. Here's the hard truth. If your phone is constantly within reach, you're fighting a losing battle. It's time to create physical and digital boundaries. When it's time for focused work, place your phone in another room. Turn off non-essential notifications completely. Use apps like Focus Mode or Freedom to block distractions during your peak work times. But don't stop there. Create a ritual that signals to your brain that it's time for deep focus. This could be something simple: putting on noise-canceling headphones, sitting at a specific workspace, making a cup of tea and opening your notebook. These small, repeatable actions train your brain to associate certain environments and behaviors with focused work. Over time, this creates a psychological trigger that makes it easier to enter a state of concentration without even thinking about it. If you're feeling resistance as you read this, that's normal. Your brain has been wired for easy dopamine. But here's the most powerful thing you can remember. The more you practice focus, the more your brain will crave it. At first, silence will feel uncomfortable. Doing one task at a time will feel slow. But stay with it, because just like building strength at the gym, every small repetition builds mental endurance, and soon, you'll notice something remarkable. The same activities that once felt impossible to start will become the ones you look forward to the most. Your brain isn't broken. It's just been conditioned by an environment that profits from your distraction. Change the environment, and you change the habit, turning your focus into a superpower. Let's talk about something most people completely misunderstand. Focus isn't a talent, it's a skill. And like any skill, it can be trained and strengthened. The mistake people make is believing that focus should come naturally. But the reality? In a world engineered for distraction, expecting natural focus is like expecting to run a marathon without ever stepping into a gym. Here's the good news. Your brain is incredibly adaptable. Through a process called neuroplasticity, it literally rewires itself based on what you consistently practice. If you train distraction, you get better at being distracted. But if you train focus, your brain starts craving deeper attention and longer periods of mental clarity. So, how do you turn focus into your personal superpower? It starts with understanding that attention is a finite resource. Every day, you wake up with a full battery of mental energy. And throughout the day, everything you do either protects that battery or drains it. Step 1. Embrace the power of attention sprinting. Forget the outdated belief that productivity comes from sitting still and grinding for hours. The most effective people in the world use a method called attention sprinting, working in highly focused bursts followed by deliberate rest. Here's the neuroscience behind it. Your brain naturally works best in cycles called ultradian rhythms, periods of 90 minutes of peak focus followed by a necessary rest phase. When you push through fatigue and try to force productivity, your efficiency actually drops and your stress hormones spike. Instead, try this. Work with deep focus for 45 to 90 minutes, then take a real break. No scrolling, no quick email checks, just step away, stretch, breathe, or get some sunlight. This isn't laziness. This is strategic recovery for your brain. Over time, these sprints will allow you to get more done in a focused hour than most people accomplish in an entire distracted afternoon. Step 2. Build your personal focus environment. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your environment. If your phone is always in sight, if social media tabs are always open, if notifications are allowed to interrupt your thoughts at any time, your environment is literally working against your best intentions. Design your space to serve your focus. Create a dedicated workspace that's clean and free of clutter. Use apps that block distracting websites during work hours. If possible, change your physical environment when entering deep work mode. Even moving to a new chair can signal to your brain that it's time to focus. Your surroundings act as silent triggers for your habits. If you want to change the habit, start by changing the triggers. Step 3. Use the one-tab rule. Your digital workspace is just as important as your physical one. Challenge yourself to use only one browser tab at a time while working. If you need to open another, close the one you're currently using first. This small rule forces your brain to stay present with the task at hand, rather than bouncing endlessly between half-finished thoughts. Multitasking isn't a badge of honor, it's a productivity killer. Studies show that multitasking reduces efficiency by up to 40% and increases mental fatigue. Your brain isn't built to handle multiple streams of attention at once. Every switch costs energy and leaves behind mental residue. Single tasking isn't just more productive, it's a form of mental self-care. Step 4. Create a focus ritual. Before deep work, elite performers, from athletes to world-class creatives, all have one thing in common: rituals. They don't leave their mindset to chance. They create repeatable, intentional actions that prepare their mind for performance. Before you enter a focused work session, perform a short ritual. Close unnecessary tabs or apps. Put on headphones or calming music. Light a candle, sip tea, or take 5 deep breaths. It might feel small, but these consistent cues send a powerful signal to your brain. It's time to focus now. Over time, your mind will start entering focus mode more easily, just by going through this sequence. Final thought. You are training your brain. Every day. The only question is, for what? Every time you resist a distraction, you strengthen your focus. Every time you give in, you reinforce the habit of distraction. Neither path is inherently good or bad, but each shapes who you're becoming. Focus isn't about perfection. It's about small, consistent choices. And here's the truth most people never realize. The real power of focus isn't in what it helps you accomplish. It's in how it transforms who you become. When you master your attention, you reclaim your time. When you reclaim your time, you take back your life. Your attention is your power at the end of the day, everything you experience, everything you feel, and everything you become. It all comes down to one simple truth. Your life becomes what you choose to pay attention to. In this modern world, it's easy to believe that life is happening to you, that you're stuck in a cycle of distractions you didn't choose, days that pass in a blur, and goals that always seem just out of reach. But the reality is this: you are not powerless. Right now, in this very moment, you have the ability to choose where your attention goes. And with that choice, you shape your reality. Most people wait for a perfect time to change their habits. They wait for less stress, more time, or that mythical moment when life will somehow slow down. But that moment never comes. The truth is, the smallest decisions you make today have the greatest power to shape your future. Saying no to one unnecessary notification, choosing to stay present for 5 more minutes, closing that extra tab, and focusing on what's right in front of you. These are small actions, yes, but they are also acts of rebellion against a system designed to steal your time and attention. Every moment you reclaim is a statement, a reminder that you are in control. And as you continue this journey, remember, it's not about being perfect. There will be days when distractions win, when you scroll longer than you planned, when your focus feels scattered and weak. That's not failure. That's being human. But even on those days, you can choose to begin again. One breath, one choice, one focused moment at a time. Because in the end, the people who live the most meaningful lives aren't the ones who never get distracted. They're the ones who keep coming back to what matters. If this message resonated with you, and you're ready to build a life of clarity, purpose, and intentional focus, consider subscribing to Rewired Focus. Not because you should, but because you want more of what truly brings you back to yourself. Together, we're not just learning how to focus, we're building a new way of living, and it starts now.